Animal spin. Some people don't like animals, so they don't know that I'm the saddest thing. We see some girl over there, some maga one right lead up to the fattest thing, and them flex like them the hottest thing. And when them girls start cock it back, it's who frog back, rock back, all on a truck back, and them start knock it back.
Hello, I'm from Trinisinlondon, and we're doing yet another interview. And I have with me here Kelly from Bacchanalia, and we're here in the camp. So today we're going to find out a bit more about Kelly and a bit more about Bacchanalia. So first questions first, how did Bacchanalia come about?
Bacchanalia was started in 2005. It was originally founded by my husband, Andrew. Andrew's been involved in Carnival for the better part of about 18 years.
Okay.
Mostly involved via sound systems and working with mass bands in that capacity. I came to London in 1995, and coming from a country where Carnival is such a huge part of it, you know, the comparisons were pretty obvious. My first couple of experience going to Carnival, I mean, there were a lot of years that I missed. And then when Andrew started doing the sound systems, I went along, and you know, it gave me a chance to sort of watch other mass bands in those years to see, you know, what they were doing, how much work was involved, what goes on behind the scenes, and you know, it's a learning experience, I would say. This entire project, it takes up a lot of your time, but you know, we learn so much every year that it's worth it.
So this year your theme is Fall from Grace.
Yes.
Or how did you come up with this thing? What inspired you? Where did you get the colours for the costumes?
This is an interesting one because we didn't want to do something too abstract, but we wanted to do a story where, yes, this is a, you know, it's a slight conflict where you want to do something creative and very artistic, but at the same time you have to bow to supply and demand. Our masqueraders, there are a lot of young women and men, and you know, they're like a particular look. So whilst I get to be more creative and stamp my name on the individuals, with the section pieces, I sort of have to cater for what they would want. The theme itself, we thought long and hard about it. It's a story that I like. It's the stories of you know, fallen angels. You can sort of interpret it in many different ways. We broke it up into 4 parts, which we thought we could manage and handle. The first section is called Erin, which was the original fallen angel. The second section is Nephilim, and basically this part of the story is where those angels that fell, you know, they saw earth women, and you know, they thought that they were beautiful, and they wanted to interact with them. And those children, I think we all remember the Bible days when, you know, people said giants ruled the earth, and that's that part of that story. Third part is that section where those angels are bound in hell and being punished. But whilst the story is a heavy one, the last section is more giving hope, and you know, like there's a light and a new beginning and all of that. So we try to sort of compress it in that way, whilst at the same time using new materials and, you know, using materials that are fashionable today, and you know, hopefully we can tell our story in that way.
So, but you haven't answered my question about the colours, because the colours are just so vibrant.
Yeah, I think when you look at Carnival, even though sometimes the theme can be a bit dark, to actually make a presentation work, especially for Carnival is about colour. It has to be about colour. The one section we allowed ourselves to go slightly dark in is the third one, and that's not as dark as it technically should be. The green and the orange for the second section symbolizes the earth, earth materials, armor, and all of those sort of things, which sort of combines those angels that fell, because in my interpretation, angels wear armor. You know, they're dressed in this particular way. The third section, the same sort of thing. You know, it's slightly darker, but I believe because Carnival is color, we have to find a way to introduce the vibrancy, but try to tell the story. The first one, you know, it's all gold and white with touches of black. So I would, in my mind, when they fell, whilst it's all gold and white and pure, there is that black to symbolize I fell. You know, it's not completely white and wholesome.
So this is your second year?
Yeah. Second year as a costume band on our own. When we came out in 2005, it was more you know, toes in the water type. It was a more toes in the water type approach. We did a fun mass band, and our ethos for the entire time that we've been doing Bacchanalia is to bring friends and family together, which is exactly what we've done. And I think that is our biggest accomplishment to date. It's one that we're very proud of. The first year, you know, we started off small. The second year, people brought more friends, more family. And the nicest part of all of this is when you actually see that collective come together. With our events, it's another chance for people to come out, meet other people. And we found such a nice little family atmosphere that, you know, we've seen friendships build within the band. We've seen people, you know, just carry on outside of Carnival. And I think that's a really nice thing to see. And to see that that's actually like a byproduct of Carnival, it's amazing.
And you've also got a t-shirt section.
Yes. Our t-shirt band is called Whatless for obvious reasons. And we actually, this is a funny story. Yeah. we dreamed up this name probably about a year or so before we launched Whatless. And the artist Kez is on my Facebook page, and I think a couple of days before we came up with the photos, he had put like a couple of teasers saying Whatless. So I sent him a message and I said, please tell me you're releasing a song that, you know, with this title. And he wrote back and he said, yeah, we are. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, can we hear it? So he sent us a clip and we listened to it. And do you know that moment when the song just connects?
Yeah.
We had that moment, and Whatless just exploded. We had an amazing time. It was a nice group of people. Obviously, that was our first year doing it. So whilst it wasn't a massive affair in terms of like hundreds and hundreds of people on the road, it was a group that we knew and that we could handle and that we were able to manage and provide the level of customer service that we wanted to. So everybody came away really happy.
What's your theme for this year with the Whatless?
This year with Whatless, we're doing Jab Jab, which is a very traditional theme. It's one that it pulls in a lot of people. It's an interesting story. People like to get messy. And we wanted to do something interesting where, you know, last year we tried something new where there wasn't paint or any other medium to get messy. It was more an interactive process where you wrote on someone, you know, like as though you were in school in those days. And what we ended up with was souvenir t-shirts, which was fantastic. But this year we thought, you know, let's try something else. And, you know, coming from Trinidad, you know, Jab Jab is a major part of Juve as it is in Grenada. And we were playing with two concepts at the time. And when we sort of spoke to our management team, the Jab Jab sort of won out on the other theme. But we will sort of keep the other theme in our pockets for maybe later on.
Okay.
And on that note, we also have another song.
Oh, really? To go with this
theme, which is fantastic.
Oh, I can't wait to hear that. So, again, it will only run on the Sunday. It won't
only on the Sunday. We don't have a t-shirt ban on the Monday for the very simple reason that we don't believe t-shirts are Carnival. It's nothing about Carnival about it. Spectators don't come out to Notting Hill to see t-shirts. Whilst I know it's a medium where, you know, you can introduce people into Carnival, I still don't feel that it's part of a Monday Carnival. I mean, maybe on the Sunday, but not on the Monday. We're very adamant where we've had a lot of masqueraders come to us and ask if they could join and be a part of a t-shirt band, but it's something that we're going to stay true to. I mean, Carnival is costume, so we're happy to stick to that ethos.
So, enough about Bacchanalia. Now we have to find out a bit more about the Kelly.
Oh no, the Kelly.
The Kelly, we will call you the Kelly. When you're not doing all this work around Carnival, you're not designing, you're not thinking of new ideas and how you're going to run, what do you do? I mean, if you were given a week to do what you wanted, what would you do in that week? Other than sleep.
I think I would travel to as many places as we can, because what we've learned from traveling so far is each culture adds something to your own mindset that translates. I know we're going to come back to Carnival, but it does. I mean, if you're in Carnival's on your mind 24/7. I mean, we've traveled we've been very fortunate where we've traveled to Asia, different parts of Asia for a few years, and we've learned so much in terms of, you know, their culture, their materials, you know, what else is outside of what we're currently using. And whilst it might not be easily transferable yet, it's ideas that we're playing with, you know. Cost-wise, not everything's going to work. I mean, the first few ideas that I sort of came up with, they were way out of our budget, so we couldn't follow through on those. But they are singular projects that I am going to be working on, where those ideas might just show up sometime soon.
So really and truly, you don't get rid of the carnival spirit.
No, I think if you're in carnival's in your blood. You have to. It's always on our minds. I mean, Angela and I will go out, or any, you know, no matter what we're doing, the conversation is always around carnival. The only time I don't talk about carnival is when I'm at work.
Because
I'm at work. And that's a whole different conversation.
The other question I want to ask you is, there's always this concept, and rightly or wrongly, that if you're into carnival, the only kind of music that you like is soca. So I'm going to ask you, what kind of music,
outside of soca,
do you listen to? Well, not even outside of soca. If soca is what you listen to and what you find to be.
I do listen to a lot of soca. Soca to me is happy music. I mean, no matter what mood you're in, what the weather's like, it just has that feel to cheer you up. And we sort of like pass it on to our masqueraders, especially the new ones. And you see that happening where they'll say, I'm on my way to work, it's cold and miserable, I'm listening to my iPod, and I'm winding on the street or on the bus or on the train. But like originally, I think I am more of a rock girl.
Rock. Who's your favorite artist?
There's a few. I don't want to freak people out.
They want to know the Kelly, just like I want to know the Kelly.
No, there's a few bands that I sort of grew up listening to, and they've sort of they've had longevity, which is great. It means that the music is good. And there's some new bands that you sort of listen to, and you think, well, okay, I quite like this, and I like. On the pop scene, I like a lot of what Lady Gaga's doing. I know she's hit and miss with a lot of people, but we went to a live concert, and everything about her I find very inspiring. Her costumes, her music, where she comes from, the hard work that goes into all of this. It sort of relates to what you're doing too, because there is a lot of hard work behind all of this. It's not easy, and you sort of have to use those examples to show people this is what happens when you do put the work in. We didn't just wake up and all this just happened. It took a while to get there. So
again, we come back to carnival.
Yes, there is a theme here.
So what do you do for work? What's your occupation?
I work in marketing and sales for a hedge fund. I recently was part of an international bank, but the hedge fund under that on that platform spun out, so we're now a separate business, and it's been a very busy few months because whilst we've been doing a lot of work around the spin out, we've been preparing for the launch and getting all the costumes ready. So it's been a whirlwind, really, a bit of a sleepless few months for us, but we managed to hang in there and pull it through. We've got a great team that comes in and help us, and this isn't just my work. It's a lot of people that make this happen and that create that atmosphere and work with us to build a brand and to take it outside of what we're doing.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? What are your dreams, your aspirations, your plans, your hopes?
I see myself working for myself. It's always been the plan that Angela and I set up our own business, and we started doing that with the Carnival shop, which is called Carnival Emporium. Bit of a plug there. No, but I mean, and I know we keep coming back to Carnival, but at the same time, when I left school, it was in Trinidad. When you're growing up, it's you go to school and you study business. There's no real room for creativity, and it wasn't really a part of my household where creativity sort of fit in. However, when I came to London, I did go to Central St. Martin's, so I did push myself and kept myself with like a bit of a toe in the water to not lose it completely. I look at a lot of fashion magazines, I speak with a lot of designers, and we've been very lucky where we've got a very talented group of young designers that's going to be working with us over the summer. And they add something new. And in terms of like where I want to be doing this full time, and working for myself, because I think Carnival is underrated. The work that goes into it is underrated and undervalued. And I think, you know, when people sort of see what it means and, you know, the things that you can create out of it, I think more people will be interested. But we're also a part of that process where we have to teach people what's involved and what's going on. So yes, a lot of work, and hopefully, you know, with the way we're heading, with this plan and this strategy, we can actually make that happen in less than 5 years.
Do you see yourself taking it out of the UK? Because so far we've only talked about Notting Hill. Do you see yourself taking it, yourself and Andrew, I should say, taking it outside of Notting Hill?
Well, last year was our first year as a full costume band, and what happened since then was a bit of a snowball effect. Carnival doesn't stop when Notting Hill finishes. You know, we keep working. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes, and it's an all-year job. We've been approached by quite a number of groups and bands and designers, not necessarily for Carnival, where, you know, they've asked us to get involved in different projects. So that's kept us very busy and very interesting. And I think this year, without even spilling the beans, you will see a lot of work coming out of Bacchanalia for different entities that's not necessarily related to Carnival. But yeah, I mean, the UK is one entity, but we're already on the next level.
Do you find that more and more men are coming into the Carnival scene in terms of wearing costumes? Because there's predominantly women. How do you find the balance between the male and the female?
I think, you know, there's a very popular saying, Carnival is woman, and whilst women do dominate the majority of masqueraders that, you know, are part of Carnival, yeah, I do think males are coming in, whether it be as, you know, the partner of somebody in the band or in a band, or I think there's a scare factor involved. I think they're afraid to, you know, sort of come and just let themselves go, and you know, there's that barrier where I think they feel that it's just too hard to cross. But, you know, we had a young lady come into the camp the other day, and she bought her costume, took her time to choose, and, you know, touched everything, tried everything on, and then she just booked her husband's costume. And we thought, you know, it was quite funny because he had no say in the costume.
Was it one of the better ones?
Yeah, it was actually that one she booked, which is in her section.
Which one did she choose for herself?
She chose the front line for the Angels of the Abyss.
So she made sure he was well covered.
She made sure he was well covered. But I find that most men tend to want to be covered, which is quite strange. I mean, the ratio, and somebody else on the soca scene asked me about this not too long ago, what is the ratio of female to men? In our band, it's an extortionate ratio where it's probably about 25 to 30 women to 1 male.
Wow.
So the males in our band, they don't complain. They do not complain.
No, I can believe that. I can believe that.
There's lots to go around, but yeah, it's interesting. I hope from what we've seen this year that, you know, more men would sort of feel a bit more comfortable coming in. I think you have to sort of think outside the box when it comes to men. Women like, you know, certain things. It's beads, it's feathers, it's, you know, fashion, whatever. But with a guy, I think you have to take a step back and think, how could I get this person to come be part of this? Where the whole experience is an expression of, you know, yourself and letting go. It's hard to get men to sort of, you know, talk to you on that level. I think it's a bit hard. But, you know, I hope this year we're seeing more interest from men, so maybe it's changing slightly.
Yes. So does that mean that when you have your mass camp, there's more women making the costumes than there are men?
No, we do have a fair share of guys coming in to help, and they do varying jobs. We have everything from, and I know who's going to kill me for saying this, we have our little tea makers and people and guys that take care of the food and the girls, and, you know, there's people that, you know, who have more specialized skills, and they sort of do like, you know, we have they sort of do like the heavier work with Andrew, like the backpacks and stuff like that, putting feathers on. And yeah, it's an interesting, we have a lot of interesting help in the camp, I have to say. Very talented groups from people that you wouldn't necessarily expect to be as talented as you'd expect, because we have a lot of detail work on our costumes, and even though the group here isn't necessarily experience in the way that blah, blah, as you would find in Trinidad,
Yeah.
per se. They've adapted, and they've adapted really well.
And I take it that they work really hard.
This is a very hard job, but I think once everybody gets together and that atmosphere is there, and there's music and there's food, it just becomes more of a hangout. It's a bit of a lime, and we just get it done really. But I think as the excitement builds, that also adds to it. So everybody starts getting excited for Carnival. The conversations go towards shoes and accessories and all these different things that you think, oh my gosh, it's months and months and months away, and people are already starting to think about that. And I think on that note, we've had so much help and so much support. I think I would like to use the opportunity to thank all the people that helped us for a very successful band launch. I would like to thank the people that come in and give us their time, their efforts, their energy. This is a thankless job. We do have our very first masquerader in the camp here with us. And she is going to come and say hello and what her experience was like with us. She's hiding behind the cameraman for the time being. Like, seriously hiding behind the cameraman. This young lady is everything that we're about. She was, she joined our band, she took a chance on us, she comes, she works with us, she sees what goes on behind the scenes, she talks to people about it. She literally, this summarizes what we're trying to do. She is that summary. She's a fantastic addition to the band.
And there you have it, folks. Kelly from Bacchanalia. Thank you, Kelly, for sparing time to talk to me.
No problem at all. Thank you for having us.
And good luck with everything for the future.
And the maddest thing, some people don't like carnival, so they don't know that I'm the saddest thing. We see some girl over there, some maga one right lead up to the fattest thing.